Death is the question everyone avoids until it is unavoidable. My fascinating Renaissance friends, welcome to my season of life, 60 years and beyond. And this is Miss Manu Cervantes, your fellow sojourner in the autumn of our life. And this is episode 178. For this month of March, and we're almost through, for this month of March, we continue to sit down quietly and reflect on the great existential questions that humanity has been asking, for so many centuries. Questions like, who am I? Question like, why do I exist? Which we reflected on in the past, what, 6 episodes for this month of March. We are on our seventh in the series on this episode, and we will reflect on them, continue to reflect on them, not as philosophers who don't care about what's happening in this world. We live in ivory towers, meaning we're up there without any connection whatsoever with reality. No, we will reflect on them, on these questions, fundamental inquiries about meaning, purpose, the nature of human existence, because our awareness brought this about, and we want to find out, how this is really all affecting the way we live right now. Okay, so we will do so as women who have lived through it, loved, lost, suffered, endured sufferings, triumphed over circumstances, and grown wiser as a result. Okay? We will not also pose this as problems to be solved, nor questions, okay, to be answered with pat, you know, pat answers, categorical, answers. We will not also do that, right? We will try to figure out how these things are unfolding. Okay, so like what I did in the previous episodes, why don't you pour yourself a cup of tea, right? And let's settle for the moment and reflect on these questions. Okay, um, what is death? Why do we die? And what happens after that? How do we live our life? Knowing that death is what? Is it always inevitable? Right? And we will again use the lens of other people and see some ideas here. All right, from Epicurus. Okay, now I'm looking at him for the first time. Unlike Aristotle, I've been always using Aristotle and Socrates and all the rest, the Stoics, for instance. But Epicurus, well, he has a different take on it, really, about death. And who is he? Well, a Greek philosopher. And he established this philosophy called Epicureanism, which is what? That it gives you an idea. So Epicureanism believes that achieving a happy life, okay, is through tranquility, which means peace. You achieve a happy life through tranquility, freedom from fear. Okay, because the highest good for a human is pleasure. Really? Okay. The absence from physical pain. That's where you get the word hedonism. People only uh, trying to achieve pleasure at all costs. It's actually because of Epicurus. Okay, when you say Epicurean lifestyle, that means it's always it's always chasing after pleasure because that is the highest good of man, so according to him. Of course, that's why I said, will I still even include him? Yeah, I did, because I thought his statement about mortality and death is a little comical. So he said, when death arrives, okay, we are not there to experience it. It's just really obvious. Meaning all our life we're trying to chase pleasure. Okay, let's not talk about death according to him. Because, when we die, we will not experience it anyway. So live your life as if there is no tomorrow. Or what is that statement? Eat, drink, and be merry because tomorrow will die. Come to think of it, that is it. Okay? So, okay. So I would rather go to the next one. Okay, his name is Irvin Yalom. Irvin Yalom, American psychiatrist. Irvin Yalom. Okay. What did he observe? He observed that what? He observed that awareness of death actually awakens our life. Ah, that is for me better. Like awareness of death, we know that death is inevitable. Everyone is going to die. There is no question about it. It is only how and when and how long do we have left to live. Okay. The awareness of death actually awakens us, okay, to life, knowing that we have an end. Okay. It will actually make our life, a lot more meaningful, isn't it? Remember in the last episode, I said, life is too short. All right. I do not want to spend every moment of it, being what? Being sucked in by the drama of other people. I don't want to spend precious moments of life like that because they are not they are not infinite, they're very finite. Exactly what he's trying to say. So he looks at the mortality or death as something very positive because when we know we're dying, then we start living a full life. Okay. Well, that echoes also with the Stoics. The Stoics are Greek and Roman philosophers. Stoic philosophy. They encapsulated their philosophy about death in this statement: memento mori. If you have been following me from the very beginning, in one of those episodes, I also mentioned this. This is a very, it's a realization that that we will die. Like memento mori means remember, you will die. That's what it says. Okay, when you remember that, so it's somehow similar, isn't it? Okay, so remember we will die. How are we going to live our life? Okay, here on earth, because it's a borrowed life here on earth. You remember that. Okay, so I also shared with you, that in the episodes of December, when the request was for me to be more transparent, for me to share with them some very very, how do you call that, very private things about myself because they want to know the real me. Who am I shared with you that when my husband got sick for a month and survived that very serious illness, so this is his second recent life, and was when I was diagnosed with cancer stage 1A and I survived that. you know, I realized, and one of the pastors who I've talked with said was who also is a survivor of cancer, says, being diagnosed with cancer and knowing that you'll die, okay, said that it is actually the greatest news. I said, how is that very possible? Are you kidding me? No, because now you know how are you going to prepare for it and how you're going to make your life a lot more meaningful. At least you can fix your house in order. You can enjoy the remaining years of your life, with the most important things. Agree? Mortality, it says here, mortality sharpens what matters to us. You know, um, In one of my seminars, I have this exercise that I let the participants go through. It's called the coat of arms. Your a shield. Your personal shield. 6 questions to actually make them reflect on their lives. Exactly what I'm doing. The first question I would ask them is, as of this point in time, what is the happiest moment, that for you at this point in time? Second is, at this point in time, what is the greatest achievement you'd consider in life? I think third is, what at this point in time, what is your greatest regret? And fourth was be, what how do you want to be remembered? How do you want to be remembered? Okay, and the fifth one would be, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind? And the last question, okay, they said this was very difficult. If you knew you have only 3 days to live, what would you do? You know, different people, thousands answering. There seems to be a common denominator. And he says, I will ask forgiveness from my creator for all the bad things I've done. I will ask, forgiveness, for the people I hurt, and I will tell people I love them. I said, okay. And of course others would have, but this is the common thread. I asked them one question. Will you wait? Do you need to wait to know that you only have 3 days to live? Most of us will never know that. We will simply be gone. Okay? Unless the doctor say we have what, 3 months to live and things like that because it's terminal. Okay? Do you still need to wait to that? For that? Can't you ask for forgiveness from your creator? Can you not ask forgiveness, from people you've hurt now? Can you tell your loved ones you love them now and every day of your life? And they were all shocked because they can do that. They don't have to wait. But that's what memento mori does for us. So immortality sharpens what matters, isn't it? We stop postponing joy. Maybe until we retire. Do we have time to retire? We wouldn't really know. We stop tolerating, what drains us. We stop tolerating people who put us down. Okay? Remember, death does not diminish life. It actually, what? It actually illumines it. Okay. So, if time were truly precious to you, my friends, we know memento mori. What should you be doing right now? Okay, sit with that question. Okay, and stay with that until wisdom arrives. Okay, gently, because you have given it space. Okay, and because wisdom doesn't barge loudly. Okay, so if this is valuable to you and you resonated with it, please like and subscribe so that we continue to look at these existential questions and learn from it. Until then, this is Malu Cervantes, your fellow sojourner in this autumn of our life, and may you continue living wisely, living gently, and living fully. Okay, until then, goodbye.